Přátelé, rozbíháme další díl Fast Breaku a jsme dneska moc poctěni, že to můžeme udělat jinak. Můžeme to dneska udělat v angličtině a s netradičním hostem, ale ještě předtím Erik Svoboda, David Pekárek a taky Petr Šafarčík vás zdraví u Fast Breaku na Hero.Hero. Čau borci.
Čau, čau.
Čau kluci.
Tak jo, a Dave, s kým dneska budeme mluvit?
Přivítáme bývalého trenéra beka Olomoucko Andyho HIPSHEREM.
Welcome, Andy.
Andy, welcome to Fast Break.
Nice to be here. Nice to see some familiar faces too.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Taking it day by day, getting adjusted to my new situation over here in the US, and so far so good.
Great. So obviously everybody knows you had a tremendous 2 years at Olomoucko in the Czech League. Super successful year last year, winning the bronze medal and really, having a historic year for the club. Now you're in States. It's at a university, and we will get to that. But let's start the podcast with your beginnings. How did you get to coaching? Did you always know that you were going to be a coach, or it just kind of happened along the way after your playing career?
I've always had an affinity for the sport of basketball. Was kind of born into the game. My father was a coach for a long time. I just kind of took the natural path. Was a player. Was fortunate enough to play for my father, experience that, and then I transitioned into coaching once I graduated college, and so. Yeah, coaching was just kind of a natural step for me. I loved the sport, couldn't play anymore. The next best option for me after playing was coaching. So that's how I got involved in it. And, it's been a great experience and profession for me to choose.
Right. So you started as a GA after you stopped playing?
Yeah, so I played at Akron for my father, and then I went to Texas Tech and was a grad assistant for Coach Bob Knight there for 2 years, and then received my first full-time position at UNLV as a video coordinator, and then my first assistant coaching position was at Utah Valley, and that was right outside of Salt Lake City in Orem. And the life of a coach is pretty much what I've lived, where the job kind of dictates where you live and what you do next, rather than choosing, where you want to settle and what you want to do.
Right. You guys feel free to ask whatever you want.
And coach, can you give us was there any specific time when you really decided that you want to move forward with a coaching career instead of playing professionally?
Yeah, unfortunately, I never had the opportunity to play professionally because I had 3 back surgeries, 2 actually while I was playing in college, and a third about 2 months after my last collegiate game. So I really didn't have the choice. Would love to have played professionally, whether that was in Europe or in the States, but that opportunity didn't present itself. So therefore, I looked at how could I stay involved in the game, and the next best option was coaching. And, I enjoy the idea of coaching, where you get to lead guys and teach guys and kind of pass along things that you've learned from different coaches. And I really enjoy it. My mom was a teacher. My dad was a coach. So, being able to lead and communicate and do those things were pretty natural for me.
And what was the first big thing that you took out from you said that you had a chance to work with the coaches like Bob Knight. So was there anything that you really took out from him, to moving forward to your career?
Yeah, I liked his offensive philosophy, the motion philosophy, the teaching guys how to play rather than, necessarily run a play. In my offensive system, don't get me wrong, we have plays. We have side out of bounds, end out of bounds, late game plays, certain situations where if we need to change the rhythm of what we're doing offensively, we'll call a play. But for the most part, probably as you and David can attest to, we're more of a read and react and playing conceptually rather than, walking it up and calling a play every time. So I got a lot of different things from Coach Knight there. And, coincidentally, my father was a teacher of motion and playing and reading and reacting and ball movement, player movement. And so I've been educated in that type of an offense pretty well. And that's kind of where the game is trending at the present time, more of a conceptual style. And so that fits right into what, I try to teach and project onto my teams.
Few sentences ago, you mentioned your father. How does he help you in your career?
Oh, he's been great. I mean, it's a wealth of knowledge. There isn't too much he hasn't experienced in the sport. And, he doesn't call me and offer up his opinions and press things on me. He more so. And that's even how he was when I was growing up. He didn't, Andy, you're going to go out to the backyard and shoot 500 shots. You're going to go out and dribble till it's dark. He wasn't a helicopter dad, and he kind of let me choose what I wanted to do in my life, and then was always there to help me and assist me when I needed it. And, it's no different now in coaching. If I have a question, whether it's tactical, whether it's schematically, he's there to give me his opinion. If I have a situation, maybe I'm dealing with a player and there's a certain dynamic going on, how would you handle this? And at the end of the day, I'm my own man. I have to make my own decisions, but it's just nice to have another opinion at the drop of a hat, which I have with him. So I'm extremely blessed in that area. And then also, to be honest, my mom has lived it too. Her father was my grandpa was a Hall of Fame high school basketball coach in the state of Ohio. So, basketball has kind of been her entire life. And, sometimes I'll ask her and she always has an opinion. So I can get an answer for her at all times for sure.
So basketball was option number one for you?
Yeah, it was option number one. But like I said, it wasn't pushed upon me. It was obviously presented in front of me. My father was a coach, and I just took a liking to it, a loving to it, and haven't looked back since. So it's something that, it doesn't define me, but at the same time, it's something that I really, really enjoy.
But it's good that you say that like your family had approach like this to you when you were young, because nowadays we can read the stories about usually it's fathers that are pushing their kids
Sure.
to fulfill like their dreams,
Right.
and then I'm not saying usually, but most of the time it ends up that the kid start to hate that it doesn't matter if it's basketball, hockey, or football, so
100%. You couldn't be more accurate with that statement. And fortunately, I didn't experience that. There was no burnout. There was no feeling like I had to live up to my father's expectations or anything of the sort. It was a natural thing, and that's how it should be for everybody, to be honest.
Awesome. So, like you said, you had a great start, UNLV, Utah Valley. When did you decide that you wanted to take your coaching talents over to Europe?
Well, to be honest, there's no blueprint to this business. Everybody gets to where they want to be in a different kind of way. You got to have breaks, timing. There's a variety of different variables that lead people to certain situations. Going back to my back in my mid-30s, I had 2 more back surgeries. So that took me out of the college coaching ranks for 2 seasons. And what you find out really quick is the profession doesn't wait on anybody. And my first opportunity to get back in the sport and coaching was in Europe. And, I was an assistant coach in Germany, and the rest is history. I've been to Germany, Finland, Denmark, and then obviously most recently the Czech Republic. an opportunity presented itself here. And, at this point in my career, I'm just trying to make decisions that I think are beneficial and keep me in a positive trajectory in regards to the career ladder and working my way to up that ladder.
And was there anything that surprised you like the most, like the differences between the United States and Europe, like the basketball wise, or even the culture? Like, was there anything that when you first traveled to Germany, you were like, wow, this is like a whole lot different?
Not necessarily. I think the way that the game is called, in the physicality that's allowed in Europe, is something that's a little different. With my import players specifically, I always used to tell them, listen, if you don't match the intensity and force of your opponents over here, you'll never separate yourself athletically or speed-wise. They'll negate that with physicality. They'll negate that with force. They'll negate that with how hard they play. But once you can figure out, the levels you need to match that, then there can be some separation if indeed, you are athletic or you are fast. So I think that those were things that I noticed immediately and things that year in, year out, no matter what country I was in, applied pretty equally.
You mentioned physicality. So which league would you say was the most physical in your opinion?
In my opinion, I would probably say the Czech league was, especially, with the likes of Nürnberg's playing style, Opava's playing style, Dechan's playing style, and then even, Martin at Brno, their teams were very physical. Mm-hmm. So, I would say that the Czech Republic and it was a good experience early on when I had new teams. It wasn't a great experience, but once we kind of figured out, how hard we had to play, how physical it had to be, then, it was rewarding to see those guys grow in that area. Cause it's not only going to help them, in the Czech Republic, but it's going to help them in their futures and in their careers as they move up levels, hopefully, because it's only going to get more physical. It's only going to get, there's only going to be more force and guys, if they want to make a living, they're going to have to, that's a non-negotiable.
And if I'm correct, you are coaching almost like 20 years, right?
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah. I don't really count anymore.
So my question is like,
I would say how old I am, so I don't really count. It's just another year of basketball. It's good.
Like my question is directed to the place where you got recently. I mean, like the Olomoucka. So if you compare it like to other leagues in Denmark, in Finland, what's the level of NBL? The Czech highest competition?
So I was in the second league in Germany. I was in the top league in Finland. I was in the top league in Denmark, and then obviously the top league in Czech. And I would say Finland and Czech are similar. From top to bottom, there's depth. Denmark, its first 5 teams. I mean, they've got Bakken is in that league. They play at a pretty high level, but the bottom 6 teams are more youth oriented. So the depth of the league isn't as good as those aforementioned leagues. And then the second league in Germany is a solid league too, similar to Finland, similar to the Czech Republic. But I would give, obviously I'm a little biased. I'm going to give the Czech Republic the nod in regards to ranking the leagues, because I was in it for 2 years. I know the competitiveness and but all somewhat similar, with the exception of Denmark, having the bottom half of the league being more youth oriented.
Zaujal tě tenhle rozhovor a chceš si ho pustit celý? Najdeš ho už teď na Hero.Hero.co/fastbreak. Tak se k nám přidej a buď součástí té nejlepší basketové komunity.